Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Yeah. Great.
I'm fired up.
I'm glad you're fired up.
I'm fired up. Mostly because of the prednisone.
Steve's on steroids, everybody.
I'm on steroids, everybody, so strap in.
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve. My name is Joel.
And I'm Steve.
And this is our podcast.
It is.
Where we discuss things and try to be better at those things.
I try to be better at those things and try to be better at discussing things. I was noticing, I don't know, I need, and I think I've said this before, but I need to work on my diction.
Your
when
diction.
I get kind of diction, like my, what's the word?
Enunciation.
Enunciation. Thank you. Because I notice sometimes when I get going real fast, I kind of tend to stumble over my words and it's not super clear, which isn't great for broadcasting. Is that what we're doing? Broadcasting?
Topeka. Bodega.
Have you ever watched, did you ever watch Boy Meets World? Back in the day with Corey and Topanga?
I did not watch that show.
Oh, well, I didn't either. But the girls started rewatching Girl Meets World, which is 20 years later because Corey and Topanga have gotten married and had a kid. And it's actually really, I mean, it's pretty Disney-esque, but it's actually like the writing is actually like really great.
Yeah.
And like of all the crap that's out there for kids to watch, this isn't it. Like it's really just, I mean, I can sit and watch it. It's like as a parent, I think this is great because it takes a lot of responsibility off.
Nice.
Parented by the television, but it's great. You know, it was cool. Like, cause they watched it a lot, like 4 years ago, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it went over their heads. They just like watching the, teenage girls be cool or whatever,
Yeah.
But now it's like some of the actual like lessons and thought provoking things are sinking in. It's really great, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I don't know. Topanga. That's what did it.
Oh,
Topanga is the mom.
I was like, where's this going when it comes to
Topanga is the mom, and you were doing that vocal exercise that went
Topeka.
There we go.
Bodega. Topeka, bodega, Topeka, bodega, Topeka, bodega, Topeka.
Topeka. See?
There it is.
Topeka bodega, Topeka bodega, Topeka bodega, Topeka bodega.
I've got a lot of speech warm-ups we could do before we get on the pod, man.
Probably not a terrible idea, actually, for our dozens of listeners.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we picked up some Instagram followers. So that's great. We broke 200.
Yeah. Woohoo. We're rolling in it.
I know.
I got on the statistics of the podcast. Or I don't know, earlier this morning. I don't even remember when it was, but I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I'm glad you do because I don't know
that I pay attention to it, but I check in, just to see like, is anybody listening? Are we screaming into the void? Like,
kinda,
yeah. So anyway, for those of you that listen, thank you, and
yeah,
it's nice to see. It's nice to see the charts and the graphs and the metrics.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Sure.
It is, it is. If you're out there and you're this has become a part of your week, that's really cool.
It is cool.
I think that's way cool.
Mm-hmm.
That I think our conversations have always been interesting, but to put them down and record them. Yeah. But to other people, I've let go of the feeling like self-deprecating or shameful about it because I listen to people talk about all kinds of dumb shit. I listened to the Brads talk about Pearl Jam, on Single Podcast Theory, and they're and they spend maybe 40% of the episode talking about ridiculousness and not the topic. And I'm like, I just love them, So maybe there's somebody out there that's a fan, and thank you.
No, I feel the same way about the always chilling dudes here in town.
Exactly.
They're just all over the place, always.
Yep, always.
But it's it's interesting and they're funny,
Exactly. Yeah. So thanks for being here.
Yeah,
I'm Steve and I were musing. Steve's fired up, as he alluded to. I am not fired up
for the first time since since like a month. Like I actually kind of feel not half bad, largely because of the fact that I am on steroids and antibiotics to clear up a sinus infection.
Yeah,
but that's I think mostly done, and I feel pretty good today. for like, it's been like a month that I just have not felt great, between COVID and a cold that turned into a sinus infection. It's just been, last month's been kind of a slog, Yeah,
man. Well,
but whatever, I feel, these things pass and onward and upward, as they say. Yeah. So you need to go see the doc in a box.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about those doctors, man.
Yeah, I know, you can't trust them. They're just in it for the money.
I don't feel that great. As of this morning, don't feel that great. Like, don't
mess with it, man. Don't mess with it. Fuck around and find out. Right. That's what you're doing, is you're fucking around and finding out.
I'm going to fuck around and find out. I'm going to get on my bicycle this afternoon, and I think that's going to fix it.
That's going to fix it. While you're doing that, I'm going to be putting up some shelves and a bike hanging rack in my garage.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, it's a good thing I got these steroids rolling in me, because I'm going to have a nice little Saturday on a Sunday.
Are these like hooks, or this like a special bike rack that you're hanging?
It's kind of a combination. It's like a rack with hooks.
Yeah, right on. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And places to put helmets and some other random crap. And yeah, it'll be good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys got the whole fleet of bikes now. So
we have a fleet of bikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we got to have a place to put them.
Sweet.
So
yeah, I'll go to the fucking doctor, man. I just I don't know, man. I just don't want to.
Well, it's because you don't feel good.
Yeah, and it's clouding my judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. Have that. See, diction.
Topeka,
that was my the guy that was my ear, nose, and throat doctor for like most of my life. Used to say, even into as an adult, he'd say, "You felt better after you made the appointment, didn't you?" I'm like, yes. Like, see, just taking construction. Weirdly, taking constructive action on your own behalf often results in feeling better.
I don't know, man. sounds like a racket.
It's a racket. They're just in it for the copay.
I love that the doctor acknowledged the placebo effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like you've taken an action to maybe feel better, as opposed to just laying on the couch feeling like crap and knowing that there are things that you could do but aren't going to.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm very cautious. I like to just give it a day. Just say, this is really as bad as it is. Let it get bad. That was my
deal. Is like, I work at a healthcare facility, and I don't want to be the guy whose hypochondria bugs the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, but I was just in the cafeteria on, was it last Thursday, or I don't remember. One of the providers is like, "You sound awful. You need to make an appointment to come see me." And I was like, okay.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm suffering in silence. Relative silence. So I project my aura of, I don't feel very good.
Yeah, I need to take some action.
Take some action.
Go to the doc in a box tomorrow morning.
Go to the doc in a box.
They're not getting my Sunday, I'll tell you that.
Okay. It's fine. They don't get your Sunday. So, abrupt subject shift. We got to talk about Ween.
Oh yeah, you streamed the Ween.
Yeah, well, I just watched the the preview thing, but then I listened actually this morning. I listened to all of Friday night and part of last night.
Yeah, and this is from the Cap Theater, is that right?
Cap Theater in Port Chester, which is the bomb. Hold on a second, I got a dog that needs to go outside.
Oh my god.
You wanted to come in.
Holding for dog. He let the dog in, and then the dog needed to go out. It just wanted to say hello.
Pretty much. You wanted to make sure everything was okay. Yeah. So it's so like those guys are still just amazing. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody should listen to Ween, because I don't think that's true. They're not for everybody.
They're definitely not for everybody. Definitely not for Kirsten.
Yeah, or Holly. Fine, whatever. They can be wrong, but I just say they're not for everybody. But like, and I get like, they're getting older as we are, but I mean, they're on 30 years now.
Yeah. Wow.
I first heard of Ween in 1992 in California.
Yep. That tracks.
When all of the surf snowboard punks were, God, Ween, Satan. And I'm like, I was seeing the Jerry Garcia band at the Warfield. I was like, that's crap. That sounds like wasted kids on inhalants with a 4-track recorder. I got other stuff going on, which I wasn't wrong.
No, that's exactly what it was.
It's exactly what it was. And now, I saw him finally in 2005 and it was amazing. And so that was almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of, they've been through their things in the last 5 years or so, but the shows that they're playing right now this weekend are amazing.
Yeah.
They're as brown as they ever were. I mean, they're like some of the vocal stuff is a little tricky just because the vocal cords are 30 years shot,
Yeah.
And there are some things that Juniors had to kind of rearrange, and a couple things that frankly come off like, nah, that's not working, but that's the thing that's so brown about them and awesome is that they just go for it.
Yeah.
And they're still, they played last night, they played 38 songs and not one of them was a repeat from the night before.
That's really cool.
I mean, like that's to acknowledge the depth of that catalog. It's really incredible. And the thing that hit me is it's like they can veer. To paraphrase Garcia, they're a full spectrum experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, within 3 minutes, they can go from twisted and horrible to just sublime, divine, wide open, tearing holes through the space-time continuum, going from mutilated lips to.
I always think of the disparity between Dancing in the Show Tonight and Tear for Eddie.
Yes.
Like,
well, and then like, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just the goofy, strange. And when Steve uses the word brown, that's like a Ween term of just weird, sludgy, off.
But awesome, but powerful and
awesome and weird. So that's what we mean by,
brown as fuck.
Brown. But
the town brown,
the spaciousness, like you said, of like Tear for Eddie or something like that, in
tender situation,
the
meditative side of that,
like a live version of Baby Bitch is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is so good. And then all of a sudden it's like, Mister, will you please help my pony?
Or still spinal meningitis
got me down.
The version they did last night of that, they had even extra weird on the vocals. So it's just like, oh my God, this is so. But that's just it. Like, good art should make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, they are the epitome too. In thinking about what was cool in 1991, 92, and 93. I remember hearing Ween around that time too with their video Push a Little Daisies.
I've never seen that. Never seen it.
Oh my God, you need to see it. You just need to see it. It's like,
whatever.
But so I saw that, and I think I even saw it on Beavis and Butthead, and then saw the video elsewhere. But I thought it was funny and kitschy, but I'm like, these guys are. This isn't working. Whatever this is not going to work. I thought I kind of came into them about the same time I heard of the Flaming Lips, and I thought the Flaming Lips are gonna. I just kind of put them in the same category at the time. And I'm like, the Flaming Lips are cooler, so I didn't really
kind of
in a way, but I gave Ween but I didn't get into Ween until I got sober, which is weird.
Yeah, very much. Same here, actually. Yeah.
But they are the epitome of like toot your hooter.
Yes, they are 100. They're the epitome of it. They're tooting their hooter. Well,
and have never stopped.
No, well,
they did
that people touch their tutor.
Touch your tutor. Touch my tutor. Toot your hooter.
Yeah.
But they're just like, and you're right. They're not for everybody. Every time I it's like, I think Kirsten would rather listen to 9 hours in the car of the Grateful Dead channel than like 10 minutes of Ween.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she doesn't love listening to the Grateful Dead for that long either.
Right.
So that's saying a lot, but
that's so, because it's like, I'll catch Holly. I'll put on like Transdermal Celebration or something in the car, which is pretty on the surface, kind of normal sounding. Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Then you listen to the lyrics and it's like, wait a minute.
It's like it's like Pink Floyd. Some of that stuff can be really spacey Pink Floyd, and then it's totally not.
Then it's you fucked up. You know what? That's why I sent you guys that Polka Dot Tail. I
need to listen to that.
I don't think I've ever heard that song until this morning.
Oh, nice.
And it's so great. It's so great. Oh, and I'm not even gonna say it, but I was just listening to it, I'm like, it kind of almost has like a Twisted Ramble on Rose thing happen.
Ooh, okay.
But it's kind of like Awesome Sounds.
Yeah.
In that they just kind of keep circling around. Hit him again.
Mm-hmm,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't able to, like, not that I really needed to, but they played Dancing in the Show last night.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to it this morning while I was cleaning a dance studio. So I took the liberty of dancing at the show tonight in the middle of the dance studio. It was great. I just free form interpretive.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was so fun. I'm like, I'm dancing right now.
We're dancing in the show tonight.
I'm dancing in the show right now. And it was delightful. It was the highlight of my week. I felt very free.
If anybody out there needs, no matter if you're stuck in a rut with your music selection, right? If you are tired of the same top 40 bullshit, if you clutch so tight
that you've loved for 30 years
and you need to switch it up, I would like to recommend Ween's album Chocolate and Cheese.
I would start with Live in Chicago.
Oh, I'd start with Chocolate. Well, I guess that was my entry point, was Chocolate.
Yeah. That album cover is so awesome.
It is awesome. it is awesome. But Chocolate and Cheese, and my entry points were Chocolate and Cheese, 12 Country Grades, and the Pod. But the Pod, that's not for the faint of heart.
It's not. It's not.
You shouldn't start there.
No, don't start there. In fact, I don't think you could listen to the Pod without having seen Ween at least once. Kind of like the Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you put on, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, Shakedown Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this sounds like really bad disco.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Which it kind of was. But anyway, I think the Pod that's like 300 level Ween.
Yeah, that is the advanced course.
And you need I like Live in because so much of that, so much of those early songs, like the production is a little, sparse. Well, it's just like, let's take the flanger and turn all the knobs all the way up.
That's why I appreciate it. That's why I appreciate,
like,
especially Chocolate.
People that are used to listen to, like, slick production, it's not going to work. That's why Live in Chicago was so good for me, because it was, like guitars.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at the track list for Chocolate and Cheese, man, and it's
does that have Voodoo Lady on it?
Okay. Take Me Away, Spinal Meningitis Got Me Down, Freedom of 76, Can't Put My Finger on It, Tear for Eddie, Roses Are Free, Baby Bitch, Pony, Drifter in the Dark, Joppa Road, Buenas Tardes Amigo, the HIV song, and Don't Shit Where You Eat, what Diener was talking about. I mean, it's like it's every Aces back to back, man.
Aces back to back. But again, that's where it comes to, like, the production on that album. Some of the, like, Voodoo Lady is a very different experience live than it is on that record.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yes, I do.
In fact, the Voodoo Lady that they played Friday night is one of the brownest things I've ever heard. It's
really
sick. It's like 10 minutes long, and Diener just shreds.
Okay.
It's brutal. It is savage.
I think that the recommendation of a Ween palate cleanser was not for anybody but me. I think I need that.
Sure. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of, it's just that wormhole, the Ween wormhole, has gotten blown open again.
Yeah.
Largely by the Voodoo Lady they played Friday night.
Okay.
I was doing some stuff in my office here yesterday, and listening to that, had it playing on the YouTubes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those moments where, like, minutes had gone by and I was kind of focused on a task, but I had that moment where I stopped what I was doing. I was like, oh my God, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's really cool to see that, after 30 years ish, more than 30 years.
Yeah.
They're still, like, that's that's no small accomplishment. So what I'm trying to say is my hat's off to Diener and Jeaner and the rest of the Ween boys.
I am looking at this. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking at this set list from the 19th. Yeah, last night.
It's stupid, isn't it?
It's
and the
almost
other thing
40
is,
songs deep.
I think they're writing new material too, because there's some songs I hadn't. I think they played some songs on Friday night that are like new. I could be wrong because my knowledge of the catalog isn't 100%. I don't know everything.
Right.
But they played stuff that I'm like, I've never heard this before. It sounds new.
A 10-minute Pandy Fackler, though.
Yeah, that's the keyboard break.
Exactly.
Yeah, Pandy. Glenn McClellan gets to do his thing, and the boys go and have a smoke and sandwich or whatever.
Take a leak.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for everybody for sticking through our Ween worship on
Which
Sunday
is,
morning.
I mean, that's the appropriate bow down. All hail. I mean, Boognish.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. Okay. Well, looks like I'm going to go back. I'm diving back in.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for Kirsten because
I have good earbuds.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she doesn't need to know.
She doesn't. Oh, you're hanging out with them Ween boys again.
Yeah, it's my little secret.
My little secret. My attraction level to you just dropped about 70%.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're done with them.
Let me know when you're done with that.
Yeah. Speaking of SOs.
Yeah.
You guys just had a 15-year sort of anniversary-ish moment?
So
of getting engaged.
Yeah, 17 years ago on
17.
No. I'm sorry. 15 years ago 15. On the 17th. That's what I was thinking of. I proposed to Kirsten.
She said yes.
She did.
Amazing.
And, I always think about that day because I had it all ready to go. I was ready to do it, and I had a free Saturday around that time. And it just so happened that it was like near Valentine's Day, but I didn't want to do it on Valentine's Day. But also I was, knee deep in a show at school and there was just no getting around it. So we had a free day, and she always likes to talk about, she will say, and quote, she will say this: I was a total raging bee that day, I was and I'm like, yeah, but I didn't see that because I was so stoked.
You had your own thing going on.
Yeah. I had a purpose. And so we went out to this Placerita Canyon Park, the Oak of the Golden Dream. And I proposed near this oak tree where they found gold. One of the first spots they found gold in California, actually, apparently. So the legend goes. But yeah, that was 15 years ago on Thursday.
Congrats, dude.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah. So
my engagement story is not nearly as cool as that.
What's your do I know this story?
I don't think so. There isn't really a story other than that. We went we just kind of went. We went to the mall.
Yeah.
We went to Zales.
Mm-hmm.
We found a ring, and we bought it.
Nice. Did you that's yours? Put it on. Walk out the store?
Well, it was kind of like it was kind of cool actually, because the guy, I don't remember, the person helping us kind of slid because the ring needed to get sized. And so they were going to keep it and get it sized, right?
Yeah, right.
So I don't know, the guy, whoever's helping me, kind of slid the ring back to me and was like, if you want to do this today, here's the ring. And so Holly didn't know that I had the ring on me.
Oh, nice.
When we went back to her apartment.
Right on.
She thought it was going to get sized and it was going to be there for a few days,
Right.
And so then it was just one of those things where I was just like, well, we're doing this. So she was doing something. She turned around. I was there on my knee with the ring, God, we were just young.
How old were you guys?
Old. I mean, that was in 2000. Jesus, would have been 2004. So I would have been 33.
Okay. Yeah.
Ish.
Yep.
I don't remember. Holly would know the dates because she's better than I am. But we were engaged for almost a year and a half before we got married. So that was in June of 2005. So
yeah, I was almost 27. Kirsten was younger than that. I don't know. 20, 25. 25, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We were engaged for 2 more years after that because I was still in grad school. But
Sure.
I remember around that time before I popped the question, I remember talking to you specifically about this because you had already been engaged and you weren't married yet. No, you were.
No. Well, we got married in June of 2005.
Yeah. So you were already married. And I remember talking to some family members. I talked to her folks, but I remember talking to you like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And I talked to my sponsor at the time and, got that good guidance. But then I remember talking to you and I remember you said something. So 2 people were very significant that set me up for something that I returned to in our long-term marriage practice. Oh, yeah. You said this though. And I'll never forget you saying, I remember exactly where I was. I was standing outside of my dorm room at CalArts, probably on a Saturday, and was just wandering around this little hilly part, probably smoking a cigarette, pacing around, talking on the phone. And I remember you saying to me, the great thing about marriage is that you can do more together than you can as individuals. Like you can do more. And I think you were talking practically, but also like just spiritually, like as a metaphor, you can do more as 2 people united or people united than you can by yourself, which I was like, I was so up in my head about all how is this all going to go? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. That thing really kind of nailed me to a wall. And then I talked to Daryl Kermode because Daryl came out to visit Big D. And he came out and he was seeing a friend out in LA. And so he's like, hey, I'm in town. So we went and Kirsten and him and I had dinner and we were talking about getting engaged or something. And maybe we had already been engaged. I don't know. But he said something that's like, what's cool about having somebody like that is they can show you the side of the world that you can't see.
Yep.
And those 2 things have been like home bases in my head ever since.
Good.
Yeah.
And D wasn't wrong either.
Right.
And that's obviously born true in my life with Holly, and that I think that thing that Daryl said is important. In order for that to be true is that you have to be friends.
Yeah.
Right. Because Holly and I have certainly been through phases where that wasn't necessarily the case.
Right.
And fortunately, like we've made it through that, that's, it only took us about 15 years to actually come together. Really, like when we got engaged or married, I was not in any shape to be somebody's partner. You know what I'm saying? And
I do.
And that bore out over the years. And a lot of that wasn't a lot of fun, for anybody.
Yeah.
Probably especially Holly. And we kind of, I don't know, a couple of years ago just had a come to Jesus moment, right? And it involved some crying, and it involved, because the reality is that I've been in love with her since I saw her.
Yeah.
On that very and I don't mean like, I was attracted to her, but I mean like the first time we just talked, it was like, there's something happening here. I don't understand this. It's weird, but it's, it's compelling,
Yeah.
And it still is. But that's, and so there was that core there, that I don't know, never completely died, I guess, and I think there's a certain amount of, and I'm not certainly advocating that people that are in bad marriages should stay married. I'm not God says you should stay married kind of person. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. Yeah. If you're in a toxic, horrible situation, get the fuck out. It's like, we've just been talking about this recently. We went to dinner last night and we were talking about her ring, which is not fancy or large, but it's her ring, I'm like, would you want to ever get a different one? She's like, no, not really. Maybe put a band around it or something, but I like my ring, which is nice. You know, my ring is a $60 stainless steel ring I got at Sears.
Kirsten's ring was my mother's
really?
From the first marriage. And my older sister held on to it because when I proposed to Kirsten, I was a broke ass grad student, man.
Right.
I didn't have any fucking. I had to buy.
I was just broke. I wasn't even a grad student.
I remember like at the time, like I would walk over to Vaughn's grocery store and buy like a I don't know, 12 no, it was longer than that, maybe a foot. And they had the deli made big sub sandwiches. They were like a foot and a half,
right? Yeah.
And I would like go there on a Sunday, get that, and like cut it up. And that was like I had one sandwich for lunch. Once it was like I ate that. I was so broke, right? And so
at least you could afford sandwiches.
That's true. So yeah, it was that her ring though was my mom's, and we got it resized and stuff like that. And I had a friend of mine at grad school he made my ring, and it's still the same ring.
Nice.
This is a little stainless steel. Yeah. Anyway, I also remember being completely terrified. Like when you said you were so young and you really didn't know what you were signing up for. Like I knew that I wanted to commit to Kirsten. I did not know what that meant. Like I feel like I was kind of a, you know, by that time I'd been in a couple of quote unquote long-term relationships, like a series of like 2-year deals. Cause I was kind of a serial monogamist. I didn't like to date around. I was kind of like,
right.
You like me? Let's move in together.
Right.
Oh, you like me?
We met at a party. We talked for 20 minutes. It went well. So we moved in. Yeah,
exactly. We got a U-Haul. But I remember after I popped the question, I remember having some real panic about, being a child of divorce. And then I think my mom was getting divorced from my stepdad around that time. And so it was like, oh my,
what have I done?
Yeah. Like, am I perpetuating this thing? Do I know how to do this? Do I have the tools at my disposal to be a committed? And honestly, the answer to that is no. I didn't.
Nope.
I didn't have that, but I knew that I loved her, and I knew that I wanted to be with her, and I knew that that was the right choice. But I was signing. It was like, I was Frodo and I hadn't left the Shire yet. You know what I mean?
Oh God. Well, that's a great analogy.
I was like, oh yeah, let's go to Mount Doom. And yeah, that sounds great. Or like, let's go on this epic quest. I don't know what any of that's going to look like.
Nope. Epic quest is a good way to put it though. Exactly.
It's a huge journey, Yeah. But yeah, man, like what some of the stuff you're saying hit home too. Cause we got engaged 15 years ago, but that would have been, and we're coming up on 14 years, I think. Yeah, if I'm doing my math right, 14 years of being married in June. So about a year and a half we were engaged. And it's people talk about like marriage as an institution, and Kirsten and I have really kind of gagged at that word. It's not an institution because that implies that you have to carry the weight of some tradition. What I have found, committed relationships, whatever you want to call it, is really, it's a practice.
Yes.
It's a spiritual practice.
Yes, most definitely. That needs to be done every day.
Every day.
Every day. It's very similar for me to work in the first step,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been sober 20 plus years, but I still every morning acknowledge that I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for help with that every single day before my feet hit the floor. And that's adding to that. And by the way, I'm laying next to this person that we're in this situation with, and I commit to that situation as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
my wife's a situation.
This situation.
This situation right here. Yeah.
The idea of it being an ongoing choice that there is experience there for sure. There's like wisdom that comes with a long-term practice with somebody else, but it also can, if you relax into that. Kirsten was talking about this recently, that it's Yeah. Actually, my mom gave her this analogy that it's like relationships, marriages, whatever you want to call it. It's like really fine crystal, because crystal is strong. It's one of the strongest things you can have, but it's also very fragile. You know, like it can be, if not taken care of, it can be, you know, it can break.
Well, it doesn't take a lot to destroy trust.
Exactly. Yeah. And
I'm certainly guilty of that.
Same. But at the, but at the same time, like, I don't know that anybody has 15 years of committed relationships under their belt and neither party has ever deteriorated that trust in any way on big or small or big ways, you know, like that's part of the practice, I think.
Yeah. And then I think that's just part of learning, you know?
Yeah.
But there also comes a point where it's like, I'm tired of being your teacher.
Yeah.
I want a partner.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, eventually you kind of have to grow up. That's been my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't be Peter Pan forever or whatever. I mean, maybe you can with the person that's down for that, but
yeah. You can cosplay Peter Pan and Wendy all you want.
That's a different thing.
That is a different thing.
That's
a different podcast too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, Holly and I are in a really like good spot right now, you know, and have been for, you know, a couple of years. And that's been, we just talk, like we're actually in a place where we can talk about like, yeah, things were bad for a long time, but they're not now. And we're both glad for that. You know, it's like, we've kind of made it through the pressure cooker or whatever you want, you know, like the storms, right?
Yeah.
And not that there won't be things come up, because we're parents. You know, we have these two little outgrowths of ourselves that are starting to form their own opinions.
Oh God.
And like, so now we get to navigate that, you know,
I think there's something pretty remarkable too. And I agree. Kirsten and I are in a really good spot. There have been times where that's not the case, you know? It's been gnarly at certain points. But there's something about when it's good that doesn't mean you let off the gas. It means there's an opportunity to reflect on those challenges and actually, you know, learn from them while you're sort of enjoying the peace. You know, have you guys found that? Like,
yes,
like there's like definitely a rest and digest. Like, let's digest all this stuff. What did we go through here? What did we glean from that?
Well, just sitting at dinner last night, where I went to the oven and I got
#Vindaloo.
Exactly.
Steve likes to put hashtags in the fucking group text.
I don't expect them to do anything. It's just a way of.
It's an interesting way of communicating. I get it.
Thank you. Go fuck yourself.
we went to Raimono's.
Yeah, what was up with that? How come you went to Raimono's?
So Kirsten got a wild hair, I don't know, earlier in the week. I want
to drive 45 minutes to go have pizza at a place.
Well, I think our friend Mike, who has been on the pod, our first guest, Mike Zwingman, was talking to Kirsten about it. It wasn't Raimono's. It was like somewhere else, maybe someplace in Firth. There's like a couple of really dank pizza places in these smaller towns outside of Lincoln. And so Kirsten just found this one and we were like, I
know where Raimono's is. I've driven by it a bunch, but I've never been in.
Same. Because we've always driven by it to go to Branch Oak.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a pizza place. Every time I'm like, I bet that's good. It is really good. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Their garlic bread is.
That picture made me a little hungry.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anyway, I digress. You went out to eat.
I was just sitting. I mean, we're just sitting there and we were both frankly wiped out. I hadn't slept really at all the night before because of the steroids and saying, when I don't sleep, she doesn't sleep. So we were tired, but we had made plans to go out. So we went, you know, we ended up in the oven and it was just nice, you know, like there was no pretense or pretext. We just went out because we want to do that, you know, we like the food, but mostly it's just to go out and be with each other without the kids around, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, which I'm sure I don't have kids, but I'm sure that's an important thing to do.
It's very important, and
regardless of how exhausted you are.
Right, but I mean, it was kind of nice just to have people bring us food because we were wiped, you know, so we didn't have to deal with it. I got Jimmy John's for the kids and I had it delivered, even though it's like 3 blocks from my house.
Yes.
You
nice.
know what I'm saying? It's like, I just bring.
Yeah.
Just bring.
I'll pay the money, bring
whatever.
the food.
It's totally worth it. Yeah. And, but I was just, you know, we're able to just sit there and just legitimately be glad just to be in each other's company,
mm-hmm.
you know, which is nice.
Yeah. Because I think that you and I have both had those dates with our own significant others where it's like, this feels like a chore. Something is up. Something is
not
wrong.
What I ordered.
This is not what I ordered.
This is not what I ordered.
This is not going well.
That's absolutely happened for both of us.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And it's not great when that's happening. You know, it's like, what are we even doing here? I mean, I guess I'll eat the Vindaloo. Like, I still love the Vindaloo. You know?
Vindaloo doesn't make me feel weird.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all hot and spicy and comforting. But that's just it. It's like when we're in a good space, Holly's hot and spicy and comforting all at one time, you know?
Yeah.
It's great.
Right. I think that what's cool when you bring up this idea of like the joys of committed relationships. Yesterday was a perfect example of like my perfect day with my wife, which is she slept in a little bit. I got up, played video games, but then we made brunch. We read through our recovery books together. We sat in meditation together.
Nice.
We went and got a pedicure together. It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And then, then we went to, you know, this little like podunk town, got some podunk pizza, went to a movie, you know, and came back and hang out. And it was like, I don't want anything more than that. But there have been times where just I felt like I needed more with other, you know, like it's got to be, you know, like the fireworks show is not necessarily over. It's just different. You know what I mean? Like it's a very different set of fireworks where it's like, man, I looked over, I was like, Kirsten, this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I ever want. Like we can go take big trips and do cool shit. All of that is very good too.
Right.
But my favorite thing is like, like hanging out. We spent an hour reading like recovery books and did a guided meditation together. And it's just like, that's all I've ever wanted.
Like Holly and I don't really do. I think largely just because we don't have a lot of time. Like there's always kids, which is great too, you know, most of the time.
Except when they're being kids.
Oh my God. The next 3 or 4 years are going to be real interesting.
Yeah. Hang on, man.
It's it's great because like, how did it come around? Gianna, who's 14, you know, and so I told her, I'm like, well, she's like, well, I don't like that. And I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. I said, I know. It's because you're 14 and you don't like anything. And she laughed. Like she thought she was like kind of like touche, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like, we can do that, you know, which is cool. You know, my kids are just they're both very different, but they're both so smart and just funny, just wicked funny.
So how old is the youngest?
They're almost 13 and 15. In July, I'll be 13 and 15.
So in a very short 5 years, they very well might be out of the house.
Yeah, it'll go fast. Holly just went, no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking out of school. I don't really know what that's like, but I could imagine that aside from that feeling of being an empty nester.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, man.
You don't want to go there yet?
I know I'm not there yet. Like we just moved into a house so that we can have room for them and their friends. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not the empty nest phase yet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, we don't know who knows what the world's going to be like in 5 years.
That's true. Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, I think it would be nice if they just went to UNL and just stayed here.
Yeah.
You know, but also it'd be nice if they want to go to Stanford, go to Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with the student loans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
We can't help you there, kid. Have fun with that.
Yeah. But I mean, like I want them to spread their wings and go do whatever the hell it is that they want to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I can't even begin to predict what that looks like. You know, I have no idea.
I think what what I was thinking of is that, you said in the last few years, you and Holly have finally sort of, or in a way, come together in a way that hadn't been there before. Perhaps correct. Am I mischaracterizing that?
That's 100% correct.
And what a perfect timing for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's funny because like Francesca even kind of noted last night to Holly, like she was glad that we were going out because one of her classmates' parents just got divorced.
Yeah.
Right. And so Francesca is like on board with, go out, be with each other. She's 12.
Right.
And like gets it,
Yeah, totally gets it.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool. I mean, she saw, her friend, her parents are divorced and she lives, she's kind of watching that happen. She doesn't want that to happen, so she's like, if you guys want to go spend time together, please go do that.
Please go do that because really I'm talking to my friend currently about how much that sucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And so that was, that's just, it's really sweet, she gets it.
If I have a good marriage today, if either of us have a good marriage today, it's not because of our own virtue.
No, we're married. we're both blessed, hashtag blessed to have stumbled onto with like two of the best women that have ever existed.
Yes. And we have a community around us.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about wedding rings. I was thinking about that, like, because my original wedding ring, Elmo Fudd,
Bowage,
Elmo Fudd, I'm hunting wabbits. No, I mean my original wedding ring was very nice. Got it at Sarner Heyman's. It was bitching. I loved it a lot. And the first thing we got married in June, and then Eat the Big Pig, which is this camping thing out at Lake McConaughey with a couple hundred people and jet skis and whatnot. And we're driving out to Lake McConaughey as newlyweds. And Holly's saying the whole way out there, you need to be careful with that ring. It's a little bit loose and needs to be resized. You can't lose the ring. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Jesus, already with the, you need tos. And the first thing I do is I get out there and dude's like, hey, hop on my jet ski. Let's go for a ride. I'm like, sweet. Party's starting. I'll be back in a few.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the jet ski capsizes. I swim to the top, put my hands on the jet ski, no ring. Hadn't been there 15 minutes and my ring was floating to the bottom of Lake McConaughey. So I
remember that.
I come back and I'm like, Holly's like, how'd it go? And I'm like, we have to talk. And she's like, oh my God. She thought like somebody drowned or something,
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just lifted up my hand without the ring on it. And she looked at it like, what do you, oh my God, where's your ring? I'm like, so here's the thing. Right. And like, I'm so glad that we were surrounded by a couple hundred people that were able to say things like, it's just a ring.
Yeah.
He's still alive. It's fine. You know?
Yep.
And I was like, I don't think it's fine. There's, so that was like Friday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, after not sleeping for 2 days and doing that whole camping thing. We're at Sears buying this wedding ring that I have currently.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that is a great analogy of the whole situation that we find ourselves, which is seemingly catastrophic things can happen. And if we don't check.
And then you have a half a dozen people go, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Or, hey, dude, knock that off. You're not a piece of shit, but knock that off.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's probably not going to work out long run.
Yeah. I get why you're doing that, but you should probably knock that off.
Knock it off.
And recenter yourself. I mean, just like simple shit like that if I didn't have guys like you or Mike or Kemper in my life, especially in the last 3-ish years.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd still be alive.
Can you imagine sitting at the bar after work on Thursday? Yeah, man, fuck that. You don't need that, Can you imagine?
I can, because I can understand the kind of horrible advice I would give myself and take from other people.
Yes. We're
horrible advice.
Horrible advice. Yep. Yeah.
And Kirsten and I have talked about that from day one, is that we once, well, yeah, from day one, that this like kind of what you said, that this idea of a marriage is you can do a lot together, and it's an example to the community that you can do more together than you can by yourself. And as we stayed married a few years in, and we kind of both continually make the decision to not have children, we have made it very clear that like our marriage is not just about us and our happiness and making sure that we're, our marriage is a we try to make it a gift to the people around us, but
which I think you do.
Yeah, we try, man. Thank you. But we wouldn't get to keep it if we didn't get, you know what I mean? If we didn't have, like,
I actually thought about you guys and your decisions to not have kids. I was it yesterday? I think it was. I was driving someplace in this brand new, nice Toyota Tundra truck kind of blew by me on 84th Street, which is weird because usually I'm the one doing that.
Yeah. Everybody should take a drive with Steve Erbauer.
It's great.
I think it is. You got to take your Dramamine and maybe some
whatever. It's not my fault. You're a pussy.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, sorry.
Toyota truck, and it had one of the stick figure families. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, it just had the man and the woman and big piles of money. And I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah,
kids are expensive.
Yeah,
they're very expensive, expensive, and but it's weird, man. It's like, I mean, there have definitely been times that has caused some stress. But it's kind of weird. It's like, I don't even really think about it. It's just what we do, but I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, dual income, no kids, dinks. I mean, you guys fall into that category, but you're not just like, haha, we have all this money to spend because we don't have kids. So haha, we're going to go spend the money. It's like,
right.
You guys make yourselves available to the community with that time.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, to me, that's admirable. And, I mean, people that don't want to have kids shouldn't have kids.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at.
I've
always said, if Kirsten comes downstairs right now and says, I'm pregnant, I, of course, would be stoked. Right. But like, it's never been a desire. I mean, I have to check it. We check in, like, to be, anybody that's out there that's curious about why we don't have kids, this is a conscious choice.
Sure.
Right. Like,
yeah, no, that's legit.
And people, I think, wonder about our health or whatever. Fuck that. It's a conscious choice. We choose that because we're choosing other things. And that one thing that has driven Kirsten and I nuts a little bit, and I think that you've been really sympathetic to this versus some other folks, is like, they just look at you and they're like, you don't really know what love really truly is until you have a child. And I'm like, that's a real limited fucking thing to say. Like, you can love a lot of people, but if you have children, obviously so much resource, time, effort, energy goes into taking care of, and like you said, I would imagine by this time it's like, well, these people are my family. They're my offspring. They're my family. I don't think about them as, saving suckers. I think about them as my family. Like they rely on me for sustenance, clothes, shelter, all that. Just like, they're just,
I mean, my hope is that if I do a good enough job as a father, that they'll put me in a decent home and maybe send me a card every once in a while,
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that though. I think about that. Like, we're going to be old. Kirsten and I, we joke, we're like, we're going to die within seconds of each other when we're in our upper 90s. And that's our plan.
That's how that's going to go. Okay, good.
Yeah. But we don't necessarily have children that are sort of obligated to see us in our end of life care, Right. And so we have to hopefully sow those relationships in our community, Well,
by the time you guys get to that place, I'll be dead. So sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
I mean, I love you, but I'm not going to be around.
Well, that's the beauty of recovery communities.
And 100%.
Those, and like, hopefully. Anyway, marriage as a spiritual practice, or committed relationships as a spiritual practice, has been a journey that I did not know what I was signing up for at the time, but I wouldn't change a damn thing, even when it was gut-wrenchingly hard. and I was behaving in ways that were totally fucking antithetical to my goals and morals as a married person, and vice versa for her,
Did you ever see the movie Nebraska with Stacy Keach? And it's by the guy that makes the Nebraska movies. What's his name? I can't remember.
I don't know. I auditioned for that movie. I didn't get in.
Well, that's a bummer. You would have been great in it, but the movie's so good, and I have it on DVD if you want to watch it.
Okay.
It's great. But one of the things is that like the son, his dad is maybe not exactly senile, but he's not all there, and he's a drunk,
Yeah.
And he's on this Quixote-esque quest to go cash his lottery check. Which doesn't exist. I mean, it's that part. I mean, but that movie's so good. But there's a line in it where they're kind of having this reckoning because he wasn't a great father. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And his son asks him like, well, why did you have me? Why did you have me? You don't seem to. And his dad looks at him and says, because I like to screw. Like, it's not that complicated. And his son was like, had this moment of like, oh, I wasn't born out of this. Like, we love each other. And when men and women love each other, sometimes they get together and that's how babies are made.
Right.
No, his dad was getting laid.
Right.
And his mom got pregnant.
Right.
And that's how he came to be. And that knowledge was actually really helpful for him. It helped him put away all of this. That's why my dad was distant. That's why my dad was never around, because he wasn't that interested in the situation. He was a bad father, but he never wanted to be a good father. And in that way, it was really like his son. They had that moment of like, oh,
yeah, that
actually explains a lot.
Right.
It wasn't that he disliked me or he just never cared.
Well, it's like it goes back to that principle of take nothing personally. Nothing personal. Like nothing is personal. Like don't take even the things your parents are doing. Don't take it personal. Like, that's interesting. And like I I'm not like that. It's not like if we were to have a child, it would because those things happen. Like you can't continue to have sex and not. Unless
they make things now.
I know they make things, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's just
into the world, but at the same time, I don't really want to be a parent. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, and that's fine. If you don't want to be a parent, don't have kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that it's tough, man. It's tough sledding sometimes, and but even then, it's like. It's mostly like lots of work and worry and frustration with these moments of like, oh my God, that was so awesome. Just to watch them grow up. I mean, when Jonathan doing this show choir thing, it's just amazing. She's great. It's great. It's like, look at what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time she got elected to student council, she didn't tell she was running.
I love that.
Did it and got elected.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome to just be able to sit back and go, I didn't do that. Where did that come from?
It's two equal parts of your heart walking around outside of your body doing things.
Yeah, just doing stuff. And like we just had parent teacher conferences. They're both killing it. Their teachers love my kids. They love them. They would say things like, we wish they were all like your kids. I mean, is there a better thing to hear? I don't think so. No. My mom and dad didn't get to hear that. So sorry.
Neither did my parents at certain levels.
That's just, it's like, and here's the thing. Well, I'm not going to give Collie all the credit because I do my share. Sure. And I think I do a pretty good job. I think I'm a good father, but she does the lion's share of it.
Sure.
She's the day-to-day nuts and bolts, getting them in places, keeping track of who needs what, going and getting the things that they come to, like, oh yeah, by the way, I have to have this for tomorrow morning's class and it's 4:00 on Thursday. That shit happens all the time.
Oh my God. Do you ever just look at them and say, hey, lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency?
In a nutshell, yeah, we say that a lot, but it doesn't change the fact that if they want the grade, we still have to go do it.
Right. If they have to have the super special colored pencils, they have to have them.
Or the costume, or the band, or the shoes, or the sash thing that needs to be sewn, or whatever. you know, I mean, coming up, you know, like getting ready for literally late for bed. Everybody's cranky and they're like, oh, I totally forgot I need this thing. It's like, okay, here's the thing. Why didn't you say this literally anytime while you were sitting on the couch for 2 hours eating whatever fuck thing? Now is when you know, they're kids. They don't have any, but they're starting to learn because they're getting to that age where it's like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to a concept. That concept is called consequences.
Yeah. I bet that would be equal and as a hard journey than trying to teach them all that stuff is also letting off the gas and letting them hit the bumpers every once in a while.
Oh, exactly. And that's kind of the balance. Is like they still need to be able to do the things, but hitting the bumpers is a good analogy.
Yeah.
It's like they need to brush the guardrail a couple times and to be like, oh God, that could have gone over the cliff. And so that's right.
Yeah. Right.
But fortunately for you, you have wonderful parents.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's so I mean that definitely so again, going back to have dinner with my wife where we just sit there for an hour and a half and have people bring us food. Those are cherished moments.
Yeah, amazing.
And that's the nice thing is last night we just kind of were able to acknowledge like this is really nice with you here now.
Yeah, with
the naan and the mulligatawny.
It's those small moments like, you know, I think that, and this may get a little morbid and I'm going to get a little emotional because I've reconciled some of my anxiety in the last few years. And what I see clearly is that I have intrusive catastrophic thinking and I've had it all my life. I have intrusive thoughts about people that I love and care about dying and getting hurt. And it's a constant, it's a thing I have to kind of embrace. Otherwise it'll drive it. I'll be in a psych ward. And one of those things is like, once you start loving somebody like a partner like that, and you don't have kids, they become the focus of all of those intrusive thoughts. And I think of stuff a lot. And one of the ways please go with me on this journey here. But when I think about something horrible happening to my amazing wife, Kirsten, in those moments, I think about what are the actual, what if I play the tape all the way to the end, am I going to hold on to all the money we made, all the, you know, fantastic trip we took, all the stuff we have, or am I going to hold on to those lazy Saturday afternoons in our pajamas reading daily reflections and sitting in meditation and eating cold pizza? That's what I'm going to hold on to. And like the more of that, you know, like if I have more of that, I will continue to have a healthy relationship with my wife. Like that's all I want. That's all I want.
There's a look. The thing that I would miss is there's a look, and it's the thing that well, it was at Sunday night workshop, one of the secret meetings. And I was there was a podium where you go up and talk or whatever. And I was just kind of talking, doing my 3-minute thing or whatever. And I look over and Holly's smiling at me with this smile. And it just floored me. You know, we talked a couple times before then or whatever, but she was, you know, how do I want to say this? Trying to be principled in her program. You know, so there was a distance there, you know, but like that smile, I still see it periodically, you know, and there's other little things too, like just little mannerisms, the way she responds to certain things, you know, like that. If that was gone, I would notice it.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it would be, it'd be hard.
Yeah. And that's the reality of this is
even the ones that drive me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, even the ones that bug me. I'd be like, oh, she used to bug me there.
Yeah. That's the reality of the situation. And this is where, you know, the concept of impermanence is helpful, but it's hard. Is that we don't, nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts.
Marriages, lives, children, nothing lasts, you know? And it's like to savor those people. And again, if you're out there and you're in a shitty mean, you're in a shitty deal. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Savor yourself. Get out.
Do whatever you got to do.
But it's not like, well, we have great marriages and so should everyone else. Like that marriage may not be for everybody, whatever. But
right, and that's fine too.
Totally. And I'm kind of that mind too, though, that like savor those moments while you can, because that's the thing is, you know, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but like I'm 50 years old. Yeah.
Well, I was talking with a retirement planner just as a symposium thing at my work last week. And they're talking about, well, at 65, I'm like, that's 15 years from now.
Right.
That's like almost nothing. Yep. You know, that's a blink of an eye.
Right.
And anyway, so it's like, that's really like, what do I want my thought life to be going forward?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's tricky, you know. Well, it's actually not, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, what do I want to think about? What do I want to be focused on? I have just little things that piss me off. I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. People walking on your lawn.
Life's minor irritants. I think that's what I'm going to focus on.
Yeah.
Because God knows there's plenty of them.
Well, let me know how Holly responds to that MO for the rest of your.
Yeah. You already know how that plays out.
I am very grateful. I'm very grateful for your friendship and wisdom.
Yep.
I think that we don't even need to say it, because like you and I both know we've saved each other's bacon, especially when it comes to our self-centeredness with all relationships, but our marriages too.
Yeah. I'd like to think we're equal. We're not equally, but we're partially responsible for us still being married.
Yeah, there is totally. Absolutely.
And happy about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the secret cabal that keeps it going for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt that we get, you know, all the message either. So
yeah, I mean, that's really does cleanse the psyche so that, you know, the full power of the universe can come through and we can repopulate this dimension. But, you know, that's just what
it's almost like a given now.
Yeah. We don't need to spread the message too much, because it just exudes from every fiber of our being.
That's right.
Oh my God.
I'm going to Sonic.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ride my bicycle today. I might hit up a Sonic, get a 44, Route 44.
Route 44. Cool. Well, this has been good.
I love you.
Did we
do
it?
You, man.
I love you.
I think
too.
we did it.
We did it.
I hope you find some tasty ween tracks to put at the end of this.
Oh, I can actually. Yep. I'll do that. Maybe I'll put that Voodoo Lady.
Shaking that stick, driving me crazy.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Knocking me out with her voodoo.
I still can't do the boogie oogie oogie oogie. I can't do it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Especially when they do it live and they speed it up.
Yeah, I can't do it. I was trying to sing along yesterday and I just couldn't. I gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see if I can download that. It's good.
All right.
Chocolate and Cheese by Ween.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Oh, follow us on Instagram at Trying to Be Better Podcast if you're still listening, and email at ttbbpodcast@gmail.com, and like and subscribe and review us. That'd be super awesome. So that
we'd love to, you know, this might be an interesting way to get some folks to email us. Like, you know, give us some thoughts. Give us some thoughts on.
And if you find yourself
partnerships,
if you find yourself stuck, we have some experience.
Yep. Sure do.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Yep. For sure.
Cool. All right, man. Enjoy your bike ride.
Thanks, man. Enjoy your afternoon. I'll go to the fucking doctor, I guess.
Go to the fucking doctor. All right. Later.
Later.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.